Hello, everyone. It's good morning from here, this part of the world. It's 9:36 a.m. West African time, and that's about 8:36 a.m. UTC. And depending on whatever time zone you're tuning in from, I wish you a good afternoon and good evening. I'm so excited to welcome hosts all to the midweek market updates on the Forex Morning Mastery. Whether you're a regular or new trader to this session, you're highly welcome on board. And just a quick reminder, we run this session 3 times in a week. That is Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So there's always fresh insight waiting for you on this particular day. So mark them out on your calendar so you don't miss out our subsequent editions. So it's been an exciting week so far for us. We've seen great success with our positions, especially in the crude oil and the gold market, both of which have delivered some significant profits. We saw crude oil rallied on supply disruption and geopolitical tensions, while gold has held strong as safe haven demand remains high amidst trade war fears and expectations that Federal Reserve may likely cut interest rates soon. However, on the other hand, the USDJPY has been struggling, in fact, stuck within an indecisive phase, struggling to gain significant traction as traders await further US macroeconomic data before making any aggressive bet at this point. Now, this uncertainty in the USDJPY really emphasizes the caution in the market ahead of today's key US report. We are going to be looking at that. We really have not made anything significant on the USDJPY, so we will be looking at that in a moment. So if you're a fan of the USDJPY, so stay tuned in. Today we are going to be diving deep into the charts, analyzing the market's drivers, and discussing what to expect from the upcoming data releases. So grab your favorite beverages, get comfortable, and let's break down the market together. So with that being said, let's dive right into the business. And as always, the first thing we normally do, is to keep tabs with the fundamental factors that will be influencing the sentiment in the market today. And of course, by monitoring the economic calendar, we tend to pinpoint potential correlations between key economic releases and specific technical patterns on the chart, hereby giving us that valuable information we need, and most importantly, timing to strategically position ourselves for the next move. Now, looking at the assets we've been monitoring this week, that is the USOILSPOT, the USDJPY, and of course the XAUUSD, we have been focusing on impactful events from both the United States and the Japanese economic docket. Now, the week started on a strong positive note for the Japanese yen, where we saw the GDP for quarter 4 coming in way higher than what market had expected, giving us an actual data of 0.7%. And then we had the annualized coming in at 2.8%, which was quite a tremendous feat. And of course, the immediate reaction in the market was in favor of the Japanese yen. So we saw the USDJPY drop significantly on Monday. And since then, the market has been a little bit choppy, caught within an indecisive phase as we head into the second half of the week. Now, to further support the narrative around the USDJPY, we had some other events yesterday. We had the export and import reports. We also had the merchandise trade balance total, which came in form of a mixed data, and they didn't really help the the Japanese yen at all. So this further caused some stagnation in that particular market. Then besides that, we saw the New York Empire State Manufacturing Index, which obviously gives us an insight into the manufacturing sector in the United States. Of course, what happens in New York has a reflection in the whole of the US economy. And surprisingly, we had a 5.7 actual figure here, which was in fact way above what market were looking at. In fact, market were expecting a deficit of 1, and compared to the previous month, which came in at a deficit of 12.6. So that was quite an impressive data from the United States economic docket. Now, going into today's trading session, that is Wednesday, February 19th, we are going to be looking forward to one single high impactful event, which is the publication of the FOMC minutes. Well, this is a record of discussions and decisions made by the officials of the Fed during their last meeting. That is the meeting that made them maintain the current interest rate. And of course, this minute will give us an insight into the Fed's view on the economy and potential future monetary policy decisions. So definitely market participants will be looking forward to this report to have an insight into this narrative. Definitely it's going to be playing a significant role today. What is the timing? 7 p.m. UTC. That's 8 p.m. Local time. So let's mark out the timing so that we do not miss out on this one. As we all know, the anticipation of this event definitely will influence the behavioral patterns of market participants, which will obviously reflect on the chart as price action. Then besides this high impactful event, we have some mid-tier economic features which I also want to consider going into today's trading session, one of which is the building permit report, which is usually released by the US Census Bureau, and it shows the number of permits for new construction projects. So for us, this tends to cause some volatility to the US dollar as well, as the housing sector is also considered to be a very sensitive sector. Now, from what we have here, market participants, economists are projecting a 1.46 million growth in the last 30 days as against the previous month, which came in at 1.482 million. So we look forward to see what the actual data is going to be. Will it be just as what market had expected, below expectations, or even beyond expectation? But theoretically, if the data comes in higher than what market had expected, it has a tendency of bringing some positive traction in favor of the US dollar. And if the contrary happens, we want to be expecting a negative traction. Then besides this, we have a speech from one of the Fed officials coming up later today. That's about 10 p.m. UTC. Vice Chair Philip Jefferson is going to be speaking, and of course, being a member of the FOMC committee, participants will want to hear what he has to say to have a clue into future monetary policy decisions as well. Then for tomorrow, Thursday, February 20th, I want to look forward to the initial jobless claim count, which is obviously a labor-oriented data. It measures the number of people filing first-time claim for state unemployment insurances. And from the report, a weaker than if the number comes in larger than expected, it will indicate that there is a high level of unemployment in the United States, which will not be a good news for the US dollar. So we look forward to see what the data will be on that one. Tomorrow, 1:30 p.m. UTC is the timing. Then besides that, we have a bunch of speeches from Fed officials from the United States as well. And then we also have another important event from the Japanese economic docket. So for those of us who are monitoring the USDJPY, this is one event we want to be looking forward to. It's an inflationary data, that is the consumer price index. And of course, if the data comes in higher than the previous month, it may likely incite some very good traction in favor of the Japanese yen. So we are going to be taking a look at the USDJPY in a moment to see what has been going on and what are the possibilities that the structural detail we have on the chart is likely going to give us for the second half of the week. So if you're a USDJPY fan, you do want to stay tuned in, as you do not want to miss out on these ideas we will be deliberating on today. So with that said here, we shall be diving right into the business. And as always, the first asset we are going to be looking at this morning is going to be the USOILSPOT. And in fact, we've done tremendously well on this particular asset since the beginning of the week. Remember, we have been buying the USOILSPOT. We bought it right at the break of the $70.85 level. Hold on a second, let me highlight it for us to have a visual clarity into this. So this was where we bought the USOILSPOT at the beginning of the week. We were talking about breakout of that structure after identifying a range bound structure within the $70.85 and the $71 area, and since then we saw price action climb to find new highs. And yesterday, I think I gave an update. I can't remember. After price broke out of the $71.50 level, I did mention that we move all stop losses, secure some profit while we monitor price action around that area. And of course, we saw this engulfing bearish candle took us out of all the buy positions, coming back to retest the structure during the I think the second hour of the New York session yesterday. I was not on my desk at this point in time, so I missed out on this opportunity, but I was able to capture a move above the, is it the $71.50 level? Let me check. You will see it right at the bottom of your screen. So I bought it recently at the $71.83 level, so somewhere around this area to capture this move. And if you had done so, well done, kudos to you, as you will presently I have about 50 pips running in profit. And I think if you still have your buy position running, it is a pro move all stop losses to secure some profit at this point. So for me, I will move my let me move my stop losses right now. I'm looking at $71.95 area, at least in the meantime, while we await today's economic data from the United States. And from all ramification, the path of least resistance for the US crude oil is still looking promising to the upside, thanks to thanks to the supply disruption from geopolitical tension. Ukraine attacked major Russian pipelines pumping station this week, which disrupted Kazakhstan's crude exports. And from what the deputy prime minister for Russia said, he said oil flow via the pipeline have been reduced by 30 to 40%, which dovetails to about 380,000 barrels per day. And this significant cut in supply support higher oil prices. And how is that? Well, our simple economics tells us that when there is supply disruption, demand tend to increase, and when demand increases, what happens to prices? Price will definitely rise, and this will continue to support the uptrend trajectory here. And if you remember, we have an ascending trend line on this 1 hour time frame, which for me will continue to help us navigate this uptrend scenario. So as long as price remains above this ascending trend line, we will maintain a bullish bias. Now, in as much as the trend is looking to the upside at this point, we need to also be very wary of the fact that traders may be cautious about further tariff policies from the US president and the possibility of a reciprocal tariff on numerous trading partners, including potential 25% tariff on foreign cars, with even higher duties on semiconductor chips and drugs, could trigger a global trade war, which might limit that further gain for crude oil prices. So it is pertinent that we move all stop losses, secure the current buy positions while we monitor how the market will behave ahead of this second half of the week. Now, while we monitor price action, there are a lot of things we also want to be taking note of. We want to be watching out for tariff announcements, stay alert for updates on any form of tariff policies. If trade tension escalates, it may pressure oil prices, leading to potential pullbacks that could serve as attractive entry points to incite buying opportunities or even selling ideas if price action breaks down this ascending trend line. Then we're also going to be looking at the assessment of global supply demand dynamics using the crude oil inventory reports. We have the EIA coming up today. We have the API report coming up tomorrow, and any form of ongoing supply disruption or trace of supply disruption, if it is noticed, could increase demand for crude oil prices. So at this particular point in time, I think we have a simple setup on the chart right now, and we want to continue to maintain this bullish bias as we continue to monitor price action. So price above the $71.85 level, and I strongly believe that this could be a new platform that could send price going to the upside. Now, for those of us who had missed out on this opportunity, I would advise that you exercise patience and let's wait to see if the market will do a retracement back into structure. That is the $71.85 level, which obviously shares a confluence with that ascending trend line. If that happens, we could see buying ideas to continue that uptrend move. However, if this trend line is breached and broken to the downside, this could trigger sell potentials, but I would like to wait for a retracement move to happen before jumping into a sell. So what I simply want to see is signs that buyers are finding it difficult to climb back above the ascending trend line, and this could reflect on the chart as continued selling pressure below the trend line, which could welcome selling ideas. And of course, we could add more sell positions at the breakdown retest of both the $71.50 level and that second ascending trend line. So that is the only condition that will make me consider selling the US oil spot. But at this point, we maintain a bullish bias and we continue to look out for more buying ideas around the structure. So that is my simple view on the US oil spot for today. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comment section. So I will take the next 5-10 seconds off. Let's see if there are any questions before we move on to the next asset on our watch list. And do not forget to give the video a thumbs up. Your likes are very important, and it's a very good way of you supporting this community to grow. And thank you very much as you do so. All right. So, in the absence of no questions, I want to take that as a validation that we are all on the same page. I hope you've marked out the structures, levels we've marked out here accordingly, as you will be needing them as a reference point guiding your independent trading decisions today. And don't forget, for those of us who are still holding on to a buy position, kindly move your stop losses accordingly, secure some profit just like I just did right here during the session. While we monitor price action around this area. So I wish us all the best of luck on the US All Spot. So moving on to the next asset. So the next asset we are looking at this morning is the USDJPY, and to be sincere, I have not done very well on the USDJPY this week. We had a sell at some point. It hit stop loss. Then I had a buy too when price broke out of the 152.00 level. Remember, this was our key level at the beginning of the week. Then I had a stop loss. I think I had about 3 stop losses on the USDJPY. And currently I have another buy position running with about how many pips? That's about 25 pips in loss right now, as price continues to oscillate within a range bound structure. So since the new week began, though the week started on a strong bearish note, we saw price drop from the 152.400 area, a move which we missed. This whole situation happened during the Asian session, and this is thanks to the robust Japanese economic data, that is the Japan's GDP report, which was quite positive, showing that the economy is resilient at this point in time. And in the last couple of weeks, we saw rising real wages, which reinforces expectations of continued policy tightening, and this obviously had supported the Japanese yen during the first couple of days of the week. Now, with the way things are going, I actually thought that buyers will take charge in this market after noticing a couple of rejection around this area. As you will see, despite that strong bearish momentum that started this week, we saw how it had been difficult for sellers to break through this area, and to see a hammer candle followed by an engulfing candle spring out of this area during the Asian session yesterday gave me a sign that maybe it is time to start buying the USDJPY. Now, in addition to that, there is a technical detail here that also supports this bullish idea. So let me show you what that looks like on the 4 hours time frame. So if you remember vividly, on the 4 hours time frame, we spotted a descending channel, right? And then within this descending channel, we saw this imaginary trend line, which you will see that as soon as price action came back into the structure, look at the breakout here, price came back into the structure, and we have noticed how difficult it is for sellers to break through that particular area. And for the fact that we are seeing buyers coming in from here, I was tempted to place another buy position around this area, which is currently running in a loss. So hopefully price continues that uptrend trajectory as the technical setup illustrates here. However, if we look at the fundamental perspective into this market, it's looking as if the Japanese yen is supposed to gain some traction from this area. Now, if you watched the Bank of Japan's governor's speech yesterday, in fact, his deputy also supported it. They order rate hikes amid broadening inflation, and of course, this comment alone is looking very hawkish, and market participants are now increasingly betting on a tighter monetary policy, which is expected to bolster the Japanese yen. So what this simply means is that the yen is supposed to drop to the downside from this particular area, but we are yet to see any sign of that at this point. Then another factor that I think can also bolster the yen at this juncture is the 10-year Japanese government bond yield, which is reaching levels unseen since 2010. It just continues to rise. It's attracting a lot of investors, and this continues to support the strength of the Japanese yen. But we are yet to see this reflect on the chart. But if we look at the narrative here, you will see how this key level at the 152.00 area had continued to be a barrier for buyers. Despite the fact that we are seeing some higher lows here, the 152.00 area continues to be a strong resistance, pushing every attempt by buyers to break out to fail. Now, with this scenario here, I think we have something that looks like a an temporary ascending trend line here. So if this trend line gets broken and retested, I'm of the idea that sellers might take charge of this market, continuing the downtrend scenario that started this week. So for me, I will just adjust the stop loss on my buy positions to 155.500 area, because I am not sure if this will suffice the way things are going, considering the fundamentals. Part of literature is looking to the downside here, but let me just put it here just to save my my portfolio from being stop me from losing the profit I'd made so far this week. Now, in as much as the fundamental is suggesting that price is likely going to drop to the downside, remember the market is a little bit cautious as traders wait for the FOMC meeting minutes, and the uncertainty around the Fed's future policy could keep the USDJPY in the short term, hereby making this consolidation phase extend for a little longer. Now, the dollar, despite the yen's potentials in this market, we cannot ignore the possibility that the dollar could also gain some traction too. For instance, the potential impact of trade tariffs delay could prevent any aggressive Japanese yen buying in the near time, and for me this could give the dollar some room to push to the upside. So I want us to be very cautious here. The USDJPY, we've not done very well on this asset. In fact, if I cannot take this move, I might just dump the USDJPY for the week. But let's see how the market is going to play out in the next couple of hours around the structure. Like I said earlier, I do have a buy position running, which is currently in a loss, and I've moved my stop loss to 151.500 area. Hopefully it doesn't hit the stop loss, but if it does and we see continued selling pressure below this trend line, I will be joining a sell sell move to the downside. So let's see how the market will play out. If there's anything new, I will definitely give us updates on my Telegram platform. So stay tuned in as we continue to monitor price action around the USDJPY. So there you have it, my simple view on this particular asset. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comment section. So I will take about 5-10 seconds off before we jump right into the final asset on our watch list for this week. Stay tuned in. All right, so I guess we are all on the same page, and please include that newly identified ascending trend line into the structure on your chart, as this will be helping us navigate the second half of the week. If price remains above it, that means the buy position we have remains valid. But if price breaks down and retests that trend line, then we are going to be in for a sell. Then we can add more sell position if price goes ahead to break down the 151.475. So I wish us all the best of luck on the USDJPY. If there is any updates, that is, if there is something that comes up along the line that we did not discuss here, I will update us on my Telegram platform. So best of luck, guys, on the USDJPY. So the final asset on our watch list for this week is my favorite, and that is the XAUUSD. And we have been buying the XAUUSD since the beginning of the week, especially after the breakout of the 2008-94. Remember, this happened during the early hours of the week, and of course I mentioned that if we have a retest of structure, which finally happened yesterday, before that momentum continued, and we kept on adding more buy positions at the breakout of the 2009-05, and of course I updated us yesterday with another level at the 2009-15 to capitalize on, and since then price action had continued to find new high. And thanks to the strength in the gold commodity at this juncture is can be attributed to safe haven demand amidst trade tensions, and of course the expectation of a rate cut by the Federal Reserve is also boosting the price of gold at this point, and the inability of the US dollar to gain significant traction in the last couple of days is not helping matters at all. And at this point, my trade from 2 days ago was closed yesterday. I moved my stop loss to 2009.30, and by this morning when I came to the chart, I saw that I've been taken out of that position with some profit, and I placed another buy this morning. If you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see that I bought again around the 2009.35.465 level, and it's currently running with about 30 pips in profit at this point. So I think it's high time I moved my stop losses to secure this position. We never can tell, anything could actually happen. So hold on a bit, let me move my stop losses, secure this current position before I go into the details here. So stop loss move to break even on my own position here. And for those of you who still have your buy positions from Monday session open, I would suggest that you move your stop losses anywhere around the 2,925 is looking promising. That's the support line, at least in the last 24 to 36 hours. So let's move our stop losses to that particular area, and let's wait and see if price is going to break out of this record high this week at the $2,942.50 level. So please ensure all positions are well secured at this juncture. Now, going into today's session, we have a lot of things to look at. We want to be monitoring the Fed FOMC minute. We want to keep a close eye on the release of this report for clues on the Fed's future policies. And then if a dovish tone is observed, this could further support gold, while a hawkish tone might prompt a short-term pullback. And then we're also going to be looking for any form of pullback opportunities, especially with gold trading near its all-time peak. We want to consider waiting for a minor correction before entering new long positions around this particular area. And to give a visual representation here, I would like to see if price will drop into this trend line. If it does, any form of reversal setup here could incite new buying ideas for us. So as you can see, this ascending trend line is going to be playing a significant role today. If price still maintains above it, comes back and retests it, I will be willing to add more buy position. But if this trend line is breached and broken to the downside, I will be looking out for selling ideas. So this trend line here is going to be playing a significant role in helping us navigate this current market dynamic for this week. And once again, for those of us who had capitalized on this uptrend move since the beginning of the week, well done, and kudos to you. Please remember to secure some profit at this point. I have projected an area around the 2,925. If you are taking it from here, that's about 300 plus pips, which is not bad at all for the midweek. So well done, everyone, and for those who stayed faithful, well done to you too. So this is my simple view here. So what are we looking at for today? The ascending trend line remains our guiding light. So let's see if price will drop into it. If it drops into it, I want to be looking out for buying ideas if price remains above the trend line, and of course look out for selling ideas if price breaks down the trend line. But if price action climbs above the 2,942, breaking out that record high, I want to be looking out for more buying ideas. So let me just place a buy stop order above the structure just in case, and I will be placing an alert too as well, so that once that's buy is triggered, I will move the stop loss of the previous buy to secure some profits too. So I will place an alert here. Okay, so I will be placing a secure prompt here. So once price gets there, I will be informed that my position, second buy position, has been triggered, and of course I will try to move my stop losses on the existing buy position to reduce my exposure into this market. So there you have it, my simple view on the XAUUSD for today. We'll definitely be updating us on both my trading view and Telegram platform as I continue to monitor price action around this area. So I'm currently with about 60 pips in profit on the gold commodity. So let's see how far this is going to go, and don't forget to secure your profits. Very important. So if you have any questions whatsoever, let me know in the comment section. I will wait for about 5-10 seconds to see if there are any questions before we start rounding off on today's Forex Morning Mastery. So price just tested the record high at the $2,942.50 level, triggering another buy position for us. So let's see how far this is going to go. I have just readjusted my stop losses to secure the first buy position with more profit while we monitor price action around the $2,942.50 level for new trading ideas. Trust me, I will be with you in the comment section of both my Trading View and Telegram platforms to give you updates as at when due. So it's on this note I think we have come to the end of today's Forex Morning Mastery. So we were able to attend to the 3 financial instruments on our watch list for this week, which includes the USOILSPOT, where we have done tremendously well this week. The USDJPY, which we are still struggling. Hopefully we are able to break even on that one for this week. We have simple trading set up for us on the USDJPY, and of course on the XAUUSD, we have done tremendously well for this particular week. So let's see how things is going to play out. I hope you've marked out the structures accordingly on your chart. If you have done so, well done, kudos to you. Let's see how this is going to play out. Allow the structures to mature, and always remember, every decision we make in the financial market is an educated guess. So always ensure you have a well-defined risk management strategy in place. And for those of you who joined us today for the first time, I hope you are able to gain 1 or 2 things from this session. If you did, you want to be part of our subsequent editions, as the more time you spend with us in this community, the better you get to comprehend my analytical approach. So I look forward to seeing you in the next session. That is Friday, 9:30 a.m. West African time, 8:30 a.m. UTC, as we come here again to review how well these assets have done and of course prepare for the final trading day of the week. So it's on these notes I want to wish us all the best of luck today. Trade smart, trade consciously, and do have a wonderful evening, everyone. Bye.